And we welcome you live to the Beer Battered Sports Podcast, the podcast created by sports fans for sports fans, because we believe that we are the most qualified people to talk about our favorite teams. I'm your co-host, Isaac.
I'm your co-host, Noam.
And I'm your co-host, 40, back in action.
He's back, baby.
Finally back at
That
long
is-
last.
Let's make that clear. That's Coach 40. If you guys are wondering where 40's been the
40.
last couple of the last month or so, 40, you've been coaching football, my man.
Yes, sir.
All right.
His new handle.
I think I told the podcast when I first got it when Einstein High School, just to remind you guys and refresh you guys. But yeah, I'm back here now.
I
Only
think that,
varsity playing AV season is over.
all right. I think that's worth an applause. Get the soundboard. I'm working on it.
Coach 40. Coach 40 rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to have the whole group back for today's episode. It's going to be a good one. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the WNBA Finals, or how a new team has won the championship there. Talk about the World Series. You may have peeped the title. This is the World Series that we deserve, and there's a reason for that. We're going to take our predictions on this year's NBA season, which kicked off last night with a little bit of history in LA. And we'll talk about everything that happened in Week 7 of the NFL and make our predictions for Week 8. We have a special. Go ahead, man.
Even though we got the World Series we deserve, shout out to my fucking Mets, man. We battled. We weren't even supposed to be there. Like, we weren't even supposed to make it that far. Even our own organization said this was a rebuild year. We made it all the way to the NLCS. So shout out to my Mets, man.
I want to put that up as well. That was a great segue into our first segment, What's on Your Mind. Real quick, just want to give a shout out. My girl Dakota back there watching. She's, as always, going to make her picks when we get to that. But let's start with What's on Your Mind. Noam, what do you have on your mind, my friend?
The format of our new podcast looking weird as hell. Why are we so small?
Why are we? I'm actually going to hide that and make us big again.
There we go.
Yeah. That'll just be a quick. That'll just be a quick little intro that flashes, and then we go back to being big.
Put me on the spot there. I was actually thinking about the Dolphins. The Dolphins have been on my mind. I know it's strange considering they're in an abyss, but I was just looking at my fantasy, and I have Jonnu Smith, and it's crazy how the expectation changes. How it's actually if Tua comes back, his expected fantasy points plummets, just because he's going to use the receivers more than the tight end. But he's been doing well lately. That's what's on my mind. If Tua does come back, I've
been waiting months to get 40's take on Tua, so I'm excited to get there.
It's been a while.
Let's talk about the Dolphins.
Hit him again, 40. Hit him again.
Hit him.
Hey, look. It's been a while. I was just about to say it's been a while. We haven't talked about a lot of things. But no, are you done with what's on your mind, no?
Yes, sir. It's on you.
How about the fucking Redskins, man? We got a quarterback.
Yeah, there you go.
One of the best teams in the league.
Well,
beautiful.
Well, as long as his rib heals up from whatever the hell the Panthers did. Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Here's what's on my mind for today's episode. This will be a great segue. Congratulations to the New York Liberty, a founding member of the WNBA who for years was that one team that just could never win at all. Despite playing in one of the biggest markets in the entire country, if not the world, they could never win the WNBA championship. Something always came up, and it never made sense because they always had insane players. They finally got it done. Took a full 5-game series. Great series. Insane moments. Sabrina Ionescu from the logo for the game winner in Game 3. Fantastic series. Some of the best basketball I've seen in a long time. Good defense. A little bit of controversy in Game 5. There was a kind of iffy call where Minnesota might have gotten shafted. But congratulations to the Liberty on finally winning their first championship. They are the last of the original WNBA teams to win it all. Congratulations to Breanna Stewart for getting the title. Sabrina Ionescu. Courtney Vandersloot, finally. Congratulations to Finals MVP Jonquel Jones. And shout out to the people of New York City. Over 18,000 people showed up for Game 5, making it the most attended WNBA Finals of all time. And Caitlin Clark wasn't even playing. That shows you just how even without the Caitlin Clark effect, the WNBA has gotten really big. And I'm looking forward to next season and see what's going to happen.
Yeah. Shout out to the Liberty, man. Glad they get over the hump. I was actually rooting for the Lynx just because I don't know why, but Kayla McBride has grown to be one of my favorite players. So I was rooting for the Lynx, but I'm not really a fan of any team in the WNBA. I just enjoy the WNBA as a whole, so I didn't really care who won it all at the end of the day. But shout out to the Lynx for finally getting over that hump because they had a chance last year against the Aces, but the Aces were just too dominant. So
yeah. I mean, like, no matter who won this finals, it would have been history because the Lynx would have broken the record for most championships in the league. They've got 4. They're tied with Houston and who else are they tied? Who's the other team they're tied with? They're tied. Seattle. They're tied with Houston and Seattle for the most all time. So coming up short is, it's rough. But this is a Minnesota team that hasn't really been relevant in the league since the late 2010s when their dynasty faded away. So it's good to see them get back up there. I'm just happy that Connecticut didn't get there. I can't stand that team, and I will stand by that. I will stand by that.
Because I do have to leave early. Mm-hmm. Is it possible we can do NFL?
All right.
Please do NFL. We got to get 40's opinion.
Yes. We got to get 40's opinion. Let's go to our Week 7 breakdown. Lots of fun games to talk about. I'm going to speed run through some of these so we can get 40's opinions. But Week 7 was an interesting week. We had a
phenomenal week.
We had a lot of one-sided games, but a lot of interesting ones. We'll go through some of these pretty quick, but we'll start off on Thursday. The Broncos with Sean Payton march into the Big Easy and beat the snot out of the Saints on national TV. Oh, I have never been more satiated in my life than watching that happen. That even the Bucs dropping 51 on the Saints the week before wasn't better than watching the Saints lose on prime time. To Sean Payton while starting Temu Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback. No offense to Spencer Rattler, he looks like a Temu version of Patrick Mahomes. He does.
That's hilarious. He does.
They got buried. Yeah, the Saints are terrible. The Broncos are moving up.
Broncos are going to squeak into the playoffs by beating bad teams, and I'm mad about it because they're not that good themselves.
No, they're pretty bad. But they might get in because their division's kind of bad. That being said, the AFC is still kind of stacked, so we'll see.
Yeah, the AFC is kind of stacked, but I'll be honest, the Broncos can make a run. Well, actually, never mind. The NFL team just got a new addition today to their offensive side of the ball, so you know how that goes.
Oh yeah,
the NFL team being the Chiefs. That's definitely the NFL.
Yeah, they traded for Nuke, right?
Yeah. To be fair, they did need some help because Rashee Rice is hurt, and they pretty much had Xavier Worthy and no one else because Juju got hurt too. Everyone's getting hurt for the Chiefs receiver-wise, and Travis is not having a good year, so they did need receivers, something that somebody over on the couch did not want to accept the reality of.
Neither is Mahomes, by the way. Mahomes is not having a good year.
Mahomes is having a terrible year, and they're still undefeated, bro. That's that's what I mean by the NFL's team. And look how many games they won by one score this year. Controversial shit week 1. If Isaiah Likely has on white cleats week 1, Baltimore wins that game.
If we played right now, we would beat them.
Listen, I'm a Chiefs fan, and even I can admit they've gotten away with some shit this year. It's been
that Falcons game. Oh my gosh,
that was an ugly one.
It pisses me off so much because the Chiefs should be one of the most likable teams in football. They don't cheat. They but they get all of the good calls from the refs, and it really, as a Chiefs fan, it pisses me off because it's for the refs, we're allowed to lose.
And the NFL, because I was actually just telling somebody the other day, I was like, bro, I hate the Chiefs, bro. They why you hate Pat? I said, no, that's not what I said. I don't hate Patrick Mahomes. I love Patrick Mahomes. He's one of the best quarterbacks that I've seen in my generation play the game of football.
Yeah.
If not the best quarterback. No, I can't put him over Mar. Mar's my guy.
He's up there though. He's definitely in the conversation.
He is the best quarterback that we have seen in our generation one of the best quarterbacks we've seen in our generation of football. But the Chiefs themselves are so unlikable because of all the bullshit calls that they get. It makes you not want to cheer for Patrick Mahomes anymore because he's the quarterback of all that bullshit.
And it sucks because, during the Patriots dynasty, we didn't hit the Patriots because the refs gave them all the good calls, even though they did do that sometimes. We hated them because they were good. They cheated occasionally, and they just would whoop your ass. And I think for some reason that made it harder to like them individually because of the cheating aspect that came in. It was you couldn't be like, oh yeah, Belichick's a genius coach, but he's a dirty cheater. Tom Brady, I don't know. He's doing steroids. That diet can't be the only reason he's that good at 45. But yeah, no, with the Chiefs, it's the Chiefs have some personalities that are genuinely kind of unlikable. I can see how,
so many.
and it pisses me off because as someone who likes the Chiefs, who comes from a family of Chiefs fans, it's really hard to defend your family when they refuse to admit that some of the players of the Chiefs have problems.
I'll be honest. Even Kelce's become unlikable a little bit.
Oh, he's one of the worst.
He is the worst.
Yeah. He's one of the worst. I can't stand Kelce.
I've listened to his podcast with his brother. I'm gonna be honest. I love Jason Kelce, but Travis is getting on my nerves. So
yeah,
I don't know.
You know what? Great. Travis,
I'm gonna turn on my I'm gonna turn on my Valley Girl real quick. I don't know what Taylor sees in him.
Okay.
Speaking of the Chiefs, I'll jump to this game real quick. The Chiefs didn't need any bad calls to get to solidify that they were the correct winners of the Super Bowl, because in their rematch against the Niners, they kind of put a whooping on it. It was closer than it was. The Chiefs they dominated this game.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty
that comes with the thing that Cam Newton said last year that everybody killed him about, Brock Purdy being a game manager. We knew that the game managing of Brock Purdy wouldn't last too long because people are going to start to figure that out. Like, he's not really that good. He just has a lot of great weapons around him. And, his best weapon has been gone. McCaffrey hasn't played it down yet.
Oh, man. You're already back.
Now he's lost Ayuk.
I got to disagree with you already. I've come on to Brock Purdy,
man,
bro.
Listen.
Oh, no.
I think Brock Purdy's underrated.
What about Brock Purdy makes him good?
He throws with anticipation. He has all the traits. He's way more underrated than. I'm not saying he's elite, but he's definitely underrated. Like he's a top 16 quarterback, and everyone acts like he's like around the 20 or so range. He's good. He's good.
I mean, there's only like 15 quarterbacks that are actually good in the NFL, so that's not really saying anything.
I mean, it's people have him at like around 20 though, or some shit like that, or 20, 25. People say he's ass. I'm like, he's good. He's good. He is a system quarterback, but he does operate that system well. He does not suck.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. No matter what the conversation about Brock Purdy is, at the end of the day, the factor is it's an even year. So San Francisco is about to get hit with injuries and suck.
They already have.
Yeah, you look at it. Look at it. Even year San Francisco has been trash since 2017. If it's an even year, San Francisco's going nowhere. If it's an odd year, they're going to win the Super Bowl or go. Yeah.
Ayuk injured. Deebo Samuel pneumonia. McCaffrey hasn't played it down yet. Like they're just
I wouldn't be surprised if the stadium like collapses at some point or something happens. By the way, I just interjected real quick because I got to get this off my chest. I should have put this in the what's on your mind thing. There's a TikTok trend that's been annoying me recently. So hold on real quick. I'm just going to say this. First off, Mr. Alt, congratulations on the new baby. Really happy for you and your wife. Second of all, thank you. I did. No, there's a TikTok trend going on. Are you guys aware of the Minecraft Collegiate Athletic Association, the MCAA? People on TikTok created an entire like NCAA, but it's in Minecraft. So they have jokes like, "Oh, it's Villager Tech versus Pig State," which it was funny at first. It was cringy, but it was funny. It's like, oh, Gen Z. Okay, we can be funny sometimes. That's kind of Gen Alpha, but it's funny. I see that. That's pretty funny, man. Man, the last couple of weeks, every post has been about someone getting shot up, someone's coach getting raided by the police, or people bombing each other's stadiums. It's literally just turned into CSI Minecraft.
Why are we talking about this?
Because it was funny, and I was falling. I was like, I thought it was funny. I was like, this is cool because people were building like replicas of college stadiums, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And it was like this little in joke. And now people are just blowing them up and saying Pig State is bombed for the third time this year. Thousands dead on the field celebrating a win. What the fuck?
Why are we talking about this?
Speaking of coaches getting busted and stuff, though, have you guys watched that American?
The what?
Aaron Hernandez.
The Aaron Hernandez show.
The American sports thing, the Aaron Hernandez.
I saw clips of it, and I saw who they cast to play Tim Tebow, and I checked out.
I haven't. I have not.
It's actually it's actually very good, but it shows you how crazy that Florida team was. Like, they had a lot of nutheads on that Florida team.
There's a whole documentary
besides Tim Tebow.
Dude, Urban
Meyer.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. I've seen the documentary before, but it gets into better detail when they tell it from his side of the story. Like, it's insane. That Florida team was wild.
It's insane to think that, listen, we clown on Tim Tebow a lot, but to be honest, he probably is the best person on that team because you think Aaron Hernandez, Percy Harvin, Major Wright, who tried to kill somebody in the national championship game. Y'all know that hit when he saw that Oklahoma receiver, just like, you know what?
The Pouncey twins. They had some
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer himself.
I loved that team as a kid. Looking back on adults, like, oh my god.
Real quick, we should probably jump ship to the Panthers Commanders game. We got to get Fordy's opinion now. He's back on his team. You were there.
I was there. Great
Hell
fucking
yeah.
game. Great game.
Hell yeah. Even with Jaden Daniels out, you guys still kicked ass.
I'll be honest. I didn't even know Jaden Daniels got injured because I watched the whole first drive and he finished the first drive. After the first drive was done, I went to the bathroom. I come back and Mariota is in the game, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on? So I'm searching all this stuff up and it's like Jaden Daniels rib injury, and I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. I was like, this is RG3 all over again. Hopefully, he's good, but they ended up saying he was good and stuff. Mariota still dominated.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was hilarious.
This game proved
got some
that.
Videos of the state.
Nice. This game proved that Washington,
absolutely true.
That no matter what, even if Daniels gets hurt, Washington might be okay because it shows that first it was the Panthers.
Panthers,
so, that's consideration. But still, even the Panthers aren't getting blown out that bad this season.
Listen, and I'm a realistic.
Daniels is the system.
I am a realistic Redskins fan, and I told everybody in my family this week, if Jaden Daniels does not play, we are going to have to depend on our defense to win this game for us. And if our defense doesn't come to show up this week, we are going to get obliterated by the Bears.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I actually do want to.
Good game.
It will. And I actually want to do this because I know, Fordy, you got to leave a little early today. So I actually think we're going to jump right into game picks because I want to get those out of the way now. I know you got to go, Fordy. No, you and I, we could finish talk about week 7, do our other stuff after, but I want to get the game picks out of the way, if that's okay with you guys. I was working on who the overall records are for the season so far, by the way. At the moment, I have a record.
I'm 0-0.
Yeah, Calvin, you're just starting out. I'm leading the way currently. I'm 65-42. Noam, you're 63-44, so we're pretty even. My girl Dakota is 54 and something. I didn't finish calculating her losses.
54 in
she
third
missed
place.
week 1. She missed week 1. So you do the math on how many losses you have.
I can do it for her. Third place. That's the math.
Third place. Whatever. All right. We got an exciting week 8. A lot of good matchups.
Gotta be fourth when 40 gets in here.
Hey, no kills me, bro. No is hilarious.
Yeah. We got a lot of good matchups for week 8. And we missed you, Fordy. We missed you, Fordy. I hope you'll be back for a full episode next week. I'm looking forward to that.
For sure.
I missed this. I missed the trio. Let's do our week 8 game picks so Fordy can get out of here and go pick up his daughter. We'll start off Thursday Night Football. We got a good one. Vikings, Rams. I've been saying all season that the Vikings are the 99 Rams reincarnated with a backup quarterback dominated. They did get their first loss of the year last week.
You also said they wouldn't lose last week.
Yeah, I did. But they're facing a beat-up Rams team. This Rams team is still going to be dangerous because they still have a ton of weapons. But it's a beat-up Rams team with a defense that hasn't looked good, so give me Minnesota.
Minnesota, easy.
Minnesota, without question. They'll bounce back from last week.
Minnesota. All right. Next up, we kick off Sunday's games. This game got flexed because of the Washington-Chicago game. It's Philadelphia versus the Bengals. So Joe Burrow versus a Philly team that's kind of spiraling a little bit. I just don't trust Cincinnati's defense. I'm taking Philadelphia.
I don't trust Jalen Hurts, so I'm going to go with Cincinnati.
All right.
Ooh, making me the tiebreaker. All right. I'm not going to lie. I want to take Philly. I'm going to take Cincinnati, though. I think Philly's the better team, but I think Cincinnati's going to win. Cincinnati's going to win.
Cincinnati, I think they just gotten hot lately. They've gotten on the right path. I think they've won 3 out of the last 4.
Yeah. So, if they win this week, they'll be back to a 500 record. Babe, who you got? Dakota is rocking with the Birds. Somewhere. No. Okay, not that far. Sorry, I forgot. Washington fan back there.
Also,
she doesn't like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
Sir, you got you a good one, Isaac.
I know. All right. This one should be pretty simple. AFC North rivalry game. Lamar and the Ravens against the Browns, who are starting Jameis Winston after the inevitable happened. Should I just put Baltimore for all of us?
As much as I like this might be a trap game, but I'm rolling with Baltimore.
It might be a trap game because Jameis is better than Deshaun Watson, but
yeah. I don't know, man.
But they did just lose Amari Cooper as well. They don't have any receivers at all.
I'm seeing Baltimore being favored by 10. It might get ugly. It might get ugly. It might be a trap game. I'm gonna obviously take the Ravens.
No. We were favored by 10 last week, and I thought we were the trap game because we were favored by 10, and we ended up blowing the Panthers out.
There was no way against the Panthers that you guys would blow that one.
I'm putting it down. No, this is the Murder Ball game of the week. This is the game that, by the way, I finally got a prediction right on Murder Ball. I predict Washington, Carolina would be the Murder Ball game, and it was. This is going to be Murder Ball this week.
I'll be honest. Jaden Daniels doesn't get injured. We probably put up 60 in that game.
Yeah, I think they would actually have gone to 60.
Probably. All right, this one's another pretty self-explanatory one. Tennessee on the road taking on the Lions. Detroit has just taken the top seed in the NFC. Detroit, easy pick.
Detroit. I was thinking too, this could be another trap game, but
shut up.
No, not with Mason. If Mason Rudolph is starting, it's not. If Mason Rudolph is starting,
they just lost DeAndre Hopkins. But see, that's the shit that happens. They lose all their star players, and then all of a sudden they just turn into this crazy winning team, and it's like, what the fuck?
Against the Lions? Even without Hutchinson, man. I don't know. The Lions will probably bury them. The Titans are so unserious. Like,
the Lions beat the shit out of the Cowboys. They're going to dominate.
Arizona at the Dolphins. The Cardinals are coming off a big upset win on Monday night when they upset the Chargers. They're going up against a Dolphins team that's still without Tua. I'm going to take Arizona to win this one.
I'm going to go Arizona too. I just don't trust the Dolphins, even if Tua Tagovailoa, whatever his name is, comes back. Yeah, no good. I'm going to go Arizona.
1 second.
Gnome's looking something up. Dakota, who you got? Arizona.
He's practicing with the team today.
He's not going to be back.
No, it doesn't. He's not going back. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to take Arizona. Cardinals.
All right. This is this week's nobody gives a shit about this game. Jets Patriots. So the Jets, it's been rough, and they're going up against the Patriots. This is a Jets win, but it's not going to be pretty. I don't give a shit about this game.
I think the Jets bounce back and they get their first win with the new duo of Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think they're bad, but I don't think they're as bad as the Patriots. I'm gonna take the Jets. That being said, is there a way for them to both lose?
There could be. They could tie. All right, big one.
Regular season, they're still ties.
Yeah. This game's big. This is the one that could determine the NFC South because the other two teams are trash. Falcons, Bucks. Tampa is wearing the creamsicles. Take that into consideration. Tampa is wearing the creamsicles, and I'm picking the Falcons because, man.
What?
I have thoughts, okay? I want Todd Bowles' head on my desk.
Because of the Ravens?
No, because he kept the starters in there when we were getting blown out, and Godwin suffered a gruesome injury that ESPN couldn't even show. And Evans got hurt.
Yeah.
I don't trust us. I'm impressed with our running. I'm impressed with our running game, but
Godwin's out, Mike Evans out. You know,
the Falcons.
Besides last week, Kirk Cousins is playing stellar football, so I'm gonna go with my boy Kirk.
There you go.
Yeah, you're talking me into it. I was gonna say Bucks by a mile.
They're wearing the creamsicles, bro. It's a curse. They can't wear those uniforms.
I'm taking Tampa Bay,
bro.
I will believe
they have no Chris Godwin, no Mike Evans, no.
I doesn't. It's not logical. I know they shouldn't. I should take Atlanta. I know this, but I'm gonna take Tampa Bay.
All right, this one's another pretty self-explanatory one. Green Bay on the road taking on Jacksonville. This could be Dougie P's last game as a coach if they get blown out, and because Green Bay's been playing so good recently, I'm taking the Packers.
Green Bay.
See, I wish I don't know if you guys have said it already or in something. I'm taking Green Bay too, but let me tell you why I'm taking Green Bay. I don't know if you guys have said this weeks ago already or anything, if anybody's had this conclusion, but I saw from week 1 what the Jaguars are doing, and they're going to bring Travis Hunter home and bring him back to Jacksonville. They're tanking for Travis Hunter.
Okay. I would love to see him in the league. I would love to see him in the league. This one actually has some pretty big oomph to it. Colts, Texans. These two teams played in week 1. Was a pretty fun game. This is a game that could determine who wins the AFC South. It's another really early mid-season determiner game. Houston looked a little shaky last week against the Packers, but they should take care of business against the Colts because the Colts are really iffy with Anthony Richardson. So I'm taking Houston.
Anthony Richardson sucks to me. He sucked at Florida to me, and I don't know why people saw him. I think we've talked about this on the podcast before. That game that he had like 23 yards passing or something like that. And I'm like, bro, people still think this man's a first rounder? He sucks.
He's everything you thought Justin Fields was.
He's everything that they thought Lamar was going to be. Because remember, they tried to make Lamar change his position.
He does remind me of year one Lamar, maybe.
Yeah.
Now Lamar has won 2 MVPs at the position they told him he couldn't play.
I said year one. Nothing past that.
No, who you got? Houston.
All right, we're gonna have to rapid fire though.
All right, rapid fire, real quick. Late games. Saints taking on the Chargers.
Chargers. Saints.
Yeah, I got the Chargers. Go Chargers. Go.
Chargers. All right. Big game. Bills, Seahawks, 2 potential playoff contenders. I'm taking Buffalo, but it's going to be close.
Buffalo.
I know the guy has no interceptions on the season, but you guys know how I feel about him. I'm going with Seattle.
Ooh, okay.
Still about the Josh Allen hate after this year?
Damn.
But he's not good. He's tricking y'all right now. He's tricking.
I said earlier, this is like
No. Listen. He even said himself he should have like 6-7 interceptions this year. He has 6-7 interceptions that have been dropped. He sucks.
Like I said earlier, this game is this next one is further proof that the Broncos are going to bad team their way to the playoffs. Denver taking on the Panthers. Give me Broncos.
Oh yeah, Broncos by 50.
Broncos by 20. Still the Broncos.
Big ol' hatred rivalry in the AFC West. Chiefs and the Raiders.
Funny.
Kansas City. Yeah.
Real cute. Real funny, Isaac.
Yeah.
As much as I hate to say it, give me the stupid ass Chiefs, man.
Give me the stupid ass Chiefs as well.
All right. Big
Raiders
game of the week. Game of the week. Chicago and Washington. Number 1, number 2 picks going at it. This is going to be a great game. This could be a potential playoff game preview. And I'm going to say that Chicago's offensive line is worse than Washington's defense. Give me Washington.
Hail to the Redskins.
We know who he's picking.
Da Bears.
Whoa. Okay.
They're good. They are.
That's cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
They are good. Caleb tricked y'all last week. If y'all think
Caleb's amazing, what are you talking about?
He's been really good, honestly.
Caleb has been since week 3. He has come alive. What are you talking about? I know you're seeing the same shit I am. I know you are, 40.
Sunday night football. We got one of the oldest rivalries in the league on Sunday Night Football. It's Dallas and San Francisco. This is my trap game of the week. I'm taking Dallas to pull the upset. I know they're shit, but actually, no, that's not even an upset. It's not even an upset. San Francisco's injured as shit. Yeah, Cowboys.
Yeah, they're down bad right now. I'm going to go Cowboys. Cowboys coming off a bye and a very bad loss to the Lions. They should get the job done.
I'm gonna take the 49ers.
Love you guys to death. I'll see you next week.
All right.
Take care, 40.
See you, 40. Thanks for popping on, man.
Of course.
All right. Noam, who did you pick for that last one?
I'm gonna take the 49ers. 49ers. I actually think that the Cowboys. I don't think are good. I think they're reeling. I think even as injured as they are, the 49ers are still better.
We'll do Monday Night Football. Oh boy, you have angered somebody.
What did I do?
By picking the Bears. You picked the Bears. Here's Monday Night Football. No one's watching this. I'm watching the World Series instead of this. It's the Giants and the Steelers. I'm taking Pittsburgh. Easy pick. Giants, Steelers?
Oh, Steelers. I'm sorry. I zoned out. Easy. Yeah.
And I'll get 40's pick later for that one. Okay, let's go back to actually talking about the games. Unless we want to circle back and cover the...
No, let's finish off the NFL.
All right, let's finish up. We'll go back to the start where we were. In London, Jacksonville, 32, Patriots, 16. In a battle between two of the worst teams in the league, Jacksonville came up on top. He firing for another week. He's still gone, but yeah, that Jacksonville needed that win.
They did need that win, and if they lost, he would have landed at a different airport than the rest of the team. But either way, they did. Not much to say. They got the win. They looked pretty impressive against a disgustingly horrific team. Yeah, not much to say here. Both teams. Jacksonville. This doesn't do much for me. This doesn't change my opinion of New England at all, and it barely moves the needle for Jacksonville.
Yeah. So we had a pretty big upset in Atlanta. The Seahawks got the win over the Falcons. Impressive performance for Seattle. Geno Smith tossed 2 touchdowns. The defense was awesome. Tore apart Kirk Cousins. And Seattle gets the win, 34-14. 20-point win on the road for a team that's been kind of inconsistent. This was the first time I've looked at the Seahawks and been like, not bad. Not bad at all.
Same, actually. The reason I took the Falcons over them was because I liked what I saw from Seattle more, but I just didn't trust the record. They won against nobodies, and Atlanta, at least I felt like I trusted their line of work a little bit more, so I took them to win, and this was the prove-it game for me for Seattle. Seattle is good. Geno's amazing. I mean, he's been playing amazing the whole time, even in like the losses. DK, good. Like, I mean, Atlanta's got to show me a little bit more, which is why I don't think I took him. But yeah, Seattle, very impressive. This was the prove it win for me.
Yeah, very good. Buffalo blew out Tennessee. Pretty easy one. Amari Cooper had a solid debut, caught a touchdown. I think it's safe to say that pretty much not much else to say about this game. It was pretty bad. I'll give Tennessee credit. They led at the half, and that's all we can really say about them.
Yeah, that is pretty much all you can say about them.
For a Mason Rudolph-led team leading at the half,
they did okay. They did okay. They did just
okay.
Yeah, there's nothing else to say about it, I don't think.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this one. There's a lot to talk about with this one. So, Battle of Ohio. Cincinnati took care of business 21-14. This was a game. I'm just going to throw this one in here real quick because it does not matter who it was. Both of these teams had issues, and they both get this award. I'm actually turning off my camera real quick because I got to do something. But,
okay.
Yeah. So
we
got to talk about it.
Deshaun Watson gets injured. The Browns immediately look better, come alive. DTR tries to, he has a very impressive run. I'm sure we've all seen it. Bengals still win off of a Geno Stone pick so I'm used to Geno Stone getting these picks as a Ravens fan, where he was just like, we were watching it and it was just being thrown right to him. His coverage grade was okay. His tackling grade was not good as a safety, but he was just getting a lot of picks. I think he was tied to lead the AFC or something last year, or maybe the second place. I don't know. This year he gets one it was thrown right to him. And I want to point out, like I said last week, Geno Stone has been absolutely abysmal in coverage and tackling this year. But he got what was going last year, but way worse. Basically, he's worse in every regard, but he also got the easiest pick of his life. And Bengals took care of business against the Browns team, who fought them a little harder than maybe they were expecting, and that's probably about it.
So the thing I want to talk about with this game, obviously, is the elephant in the room. Deshaun Watson suffered a season-ending Achilles injury, non-contact injury, pretty gruesome.
I know.
And a lot of Browns fans were cheering in the stands.
Yeah.
And sports media kind of lost their shit about it. They said, "Oh, why would you cheer the injury of a player or your quarterback?" Well,
they know why. They all know why.
They all know why. First of all, let's not. I'm gonna ruffle some feathers here. Let's not beat around the bush. Deshaun Watson is a disgusting human being and deserves everything that he has suffered. I will go on the record and say that. I know that's probably gonna come back and bite me. I don't care. He's a disgusting human being who didn't deserve to play football, and this is the football gods punishing him for that shit. Not only that himself. First of all, not only the off-the-field shit, which I'm talking about, his on-the-field play this year has been horrific. So even if he wasn't being accused of all of that shit, even if he didn't do any of that shit, that's the reason why he's a disgusting human being, Cleveland fans probably still would have been happy of him getting hurt because he's played so terribly. Terribly. This has been one of the most ridiculous situations to follow in the NFL, in that you have a team that clearly the issue is very clear. The quarterback is trash. He is horrible. The rest of the team is trying so hard. They've got Nick Chubb back. The Browns have a great defense, and they've got a quarterback in the wings who, while he isn't morally the greatest person ever, Jameis Winston did some shit in college that doesn't get talked about a lot, but definitely deserves more coverage because
he belongs in the Browns.
Yeah, let's say he belongs to the Browns. We'll say that. He's leagues better currently than Deshaun Watson, and he immediately makes the Browns 10 times better They're still bad, but 10 times better than what they were with Deshaun Watson. And I've never seen a situation where the problem with the team has been so clear that their quarterback is trash and they need to bench him, but they just refused. They refused. They played like there was nothing wrong. It was as if Deshaun Watson, during his many trysts to local Houston area massages or Cleveland area massage parlor, found some incriminating evidence against Kevin Stefanski and the rest of the coaching staff, because there's absolute that's one of
not
that's
the coaching staff, the ownership.
The ownership.
This is an ownership decision, and I've heard some very few people say this, but you are one of them, and I could not agree with you more. This is one of those things that everyone is looking at the ownership like, what are you doing? They are dying on the Deshaun Watson hill for absolutely no reason. Like they are getting murdered, but they paid him so much guaranteed money that they are just choosing to believe that he'll come out on it, even though it's so clear he has never been good for the Browns. This year he is abysmal. He's the worst quarterback in the league by far. He's the reason that they are 1-5, and here's the reason for the 5 losses. I'm not going to even give credit for the win. And
yeah, that win was against Jacksonville. It doesn't count.
Yeah, honestly, it was against a reeling Jacksonville team, and it was also the Black game. But my point being, Deshaun Watson. Not only that, he has another case coming in. Like, he is just a problem, no matter how you look at it, and they are keeping him on the field playing as their starting quarterback. Absolutely insane.
It makes no sense.
If you had none of the allegations, and absolutely none, he is a completely clean slate, and he has just been absolutely terrible, and he had gotten injured like this, and the fans cheered, and the commentators got upset, I would then understand them doing it. That being said, I would also understand the fans, because they're cheering for their season, basically. His play was so bad, and that it's not his. It's an unfortunate situation. They shouldn't be cheering for an injury, but you know why they're doing it. But with everything who Deshaun Watson is, which everyone's just like, let's take everything out and focus on the football. The football's trash, but let's also not take it out, because that's who he is, and he's a problem. What are you doing? Why? Of course, the commentators should be ashamed of themselves, to be frank, for even criticizing the fans for cheering for that. They know why. Everyone knows why.
Yeah, it's like the weirdest. It's this bizarre, like, it's this bizarre secret that, like, everybody knows. You know, Deshaun Watson is the P. Diddy of the NFL, and everybody and their mother knows it, and yet for some reason, as I can get my camera going again. And for some reason, my girlfriend is judging me so hard right now. It's mind-bogglingly frustrating. It's mind-bogglingly frustrating to watch the Browns, because we know what the Browns can be. Joe Flacco came in last year with that defense and took them to the playoffs.
Now, yeah, the defense has not been at that same level, but they still have been good.
Yeah. Yes, Belch was put to ass in the playoffs. The Texans beat them so hard it looked like a 70s playoff game. It was like, God damn, stop. But man,
yeah, I don't know. Just absolutely crazy. Their highest graded player on offense for yesterday was Jameis Winston at 84.1 per PFF.
Damn.
Oh, hi.
Damn.
My cat decided to join me. Hey, baby.
Oh. Is that a JCPenney sighting?
Yes, well, I don't know if I can.
Hell yeah, let's give it up for JCPenney and the chat, everybody. So let's talk about some actual good games. We had some really good. Well, I'll talk about another bad game real quick. The Eagles beat the shit out of the Giants. Saquon rushed for 176 yards and a touchdown in his first game back in New York since the trade. He looked awesome. So, one of the few people on my fantasy team one of the few things on my fantasy team that went right this week. Not a good week, not at all.
I've lost 5 straight.
My quarterbacks were C.J. Stroud, who didn't even crack 100 yards, and Jaden Daniels.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Normally good, but yeah, not a good week.
It's been a weird year for me. I've been losing them a lot more than I should. I gotta do a full reset on the team at this point. Thank God fantasy basketball starts. I could start thinking more about that. Yeah, Eagles beat the shit out of the Giants. Expected. The Giants keep derping on. I don't know if he threw any bad interceptions, but I'm still going to throw this up here because it's Daniel Jones, and we got something special coming for Daniel Jones, by the way, that you're going to see in the next couple of weeks.
Interesting.
Oh, he got benched. He got benched for my man, The man who's finally coming into his own. Drew Lock. Go Tigers, baby. Mizzou Tigers, baby.
Can I share their PFF ratings, please?
Yes, please
do. Daniel Jones, 62.8. Not good. Not good. Not terrible. Not good. That was his part. Then I'll go Drew Lock, who is listed at 26.8. He was fucking garbage.
See, he's coming into his own.
He really came into his own, yeah.
Man, why is Drew I wanted Drew Lock to be good so bad. He was like the best Mizzou quarterback they've had in so long.
I could tell he was not going to be good I wanted him to be good too when he came out.
He had some really good games with the Broncos though.
But those games were lying to you. I was like, oh man, he doesn't know. This is the thing where it's like they're winning and he's making throws, so people are like ignoring the other 95% of his game. But that game against all.
But that game against the Eagles with the Seahawks last year, man, when the 92-yard touchdown drive, man.
Yeah, that was good. That was solid. You know, I'll give it to him where it is, but it just. I never saw it past like his first couple of games. I was like, oh, we'll see.
28 career touchdowns, 23 career interceptions. What the hell? All right. Anyway,
turnovers.
Let's talk about some good games. So, Packers Texans was a thriller, in my opinion, the best game of this past week, with the Texans getting the job done on a game-winning field goal from newly signed kicker Brandon McManus, who's still kicking around somehow. Pun entirely intended. This was a great game. A lot of people said this could be a potential Super Bowl preview. I dig it. I think C.J. Stroud, Jordan Love lived up to that. C.J. Stroud was awful though. I think C.J. Stroud was garbage. He had 87 yards passing. What the hell?
It was a kind of a defensive slugfest, and Green Bay did not necessarily impress me. And C.J. Stroud was not good.
Yeah,
he did not play well.
That being said, I mean,
Joe Mixon did.
Yeah, this was a running backs game, which is like yes. I'm part of the sickos committee, standing at the window like yes, yes, run the ball. Mel Kiper quakes at the sight of handing off the football.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs was all right. Wilson was all right. They're solid. This game was really close and really exciting, and I was this close. I took the Texans. You both, I think, took Green Bay, and it was close to being right. Then I was like, darn, they lost, but still, a phenomenal game. Jordan Love was really good. Their offensive line has been impressing me a little bit more lately, especially their right tackle, Zach Tom, who is just around doing his job. Respect, plus. Yeah, their defense has come alive. I got to say, their linebackers, like Eric Wilson, incredible. Quay Walker's been playing well. McDuffie's been okay. Like, I don't know, man. They don't have a pass rush, Green Bay, but still, that good showing, beating a huge win for them. Let's just call it what it is. It's a huge win for them.
I'll talk about this later, but I finally calculated like who's leading the overall standings in our pick'em, so I'll get to that. Another good game we had. The Colts squeaked past the Dolphins in a defensive slog, 16-10. Anthony Richardson was I think that's the best way to say it. Miami, I feel like outplayed the Colts in this one, but they're missing that X factor of a good quarterback. And now that 40's not here, I can say that. It's like, God, they need Tua back. He probably should play for his health, but they need him back because Miami is. Oh, Mike McDaniel is not lasting to the end of this season. The fact that you need one quarterback to run the entire team. I mean, they're down to their fourth quarterback of the year already because Tyler Huntley got hurt. You know who their fourth stringer is who's playing now because Skylar Thompson also hurt?
It's not Skylar Thompson? Who is it? Tim Boyle!
Tim Boyle, baby!
Tim Boyle sighting. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Funny.
Boyle college. Which college allowed Tim Boyle?
Definitely one of them. No, this game was a good game. Well, okay, it wasn't the game I watched.
Oh my God! I need you to guess this. Which two colleges? Because he transferred. Which two colleges did Tim Boyle go to?
I don't. Marshall.
I'll give you a hint. One of them is a basketball school, and the other I don't think you would know existed.
Gonzaga? Villanova?
No. He went to UConn and Eastern Kentucky.
Wow. Those are two of the colleges of all time.
Hey, well, UConn are back-to-back national champions in basketball. You gotta give them their respect. But Eastern Kentucky,
I highly respect UConn basketball, especially women.
Eastern Kentucky, on the other hand, they exist.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Tyler Huntley actually played well while he was in there, but it's just not much to do, and it's just this without the system, just terrible offensive line play.
Liquid Lamar is not the answer for the Dolphins.
Liquid Lamar, I like that. Yeah, I mean, he got hurt anyways. He couldn't do anything. Johnny Smith was really good. But again, once Tua comes back, we won't see much more Johnny Smith. But at the same time, it's just interesting how their system changes so completely without Tua. That being said, they had nothing to offer. I mean,
so this game was a lot of fun. Lions give the Vikings their first loss of the season on a late field goal, 31-29. Thrilling game.
Phenomenal game. One of the best games of the week, if not the game of the week.
I'd put Green Bay Houston over, just in my opinion. I thought that game was a bit better. But I think that's more because of the atmosphere, because of the home team winning and the Packers with their sexy white uniforms like that.
I thought they looked okay. I
thought they looked good.
I kind of don't think they look that good. I think they look okay.
Well, you know what? No, we're all wrong sometimes.
Not me. No, just kidding.
You get bullied for no apparent reason.
No, I mean, okay. I didn't say they look bad, but I looked at them as I was watching the game. I kind of got used to it, and then I was like, yeah, they look okay. But at the start, I was like, yeah, not good.
That's not the point. The point though is this game was phenomenal, and God, I hope we get this to the playoffs.
Absolute thriller of a game. Oh my God, both teams I thought played really well. Brian Branch. I mean, I'm happy to be right about this one. I couldn't get the other one right, but this one I was happy. The field goal did go my way for this one rather than you guys who took Minnesota. I was happy about it. Brian Branch is having an incredible year. Amon-Ra St. Brown, two amazing teams going at it, and even without Hutchinson, Detroit still gets the win. Still is able to get the job done.
Really impressive win for Detroit. It solidifies them as like. Go ahead.
Have you heard of? So you've heard of like running back by committee, right?
I've heard of the term.
Like when they had like Jerick McKinnon and Tevin Coleman and Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert, like running back by committee, right? Like they don't have a starter, everyone has a role, and they just rotate these guys, and they all perform really well in that offense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's what that term means as far as I understand it, running back by committee. And it's not just them who invented it. That's just the easiest example. But Detroit has a thing called linebacker by committee. They have, let's see. So per PFF, right, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 linebackers rated over 70 with the over 70 defensive grade in this game. And by the way, those are, I mean, linebackers. I'm not including edge rushers. Those are different. I'm talking like just linebackers. They had 5 of them. Most teams will not like keep in mind, usually you will only see 2 out there at a time because everyone uses nickel. They had 5. That's how rotational they were with it. And they were all so good. They're all like system linebackers. It's linebacker by committee. And if that is not the most Dan Campbell thing I have ever heard in my life, linebacker by committee, that makes complete sense. The only thing that would more than that is like, I don't know, defensive line by committee. I guess that'd be arguably more Dan Campbell, but just phenomenal game from both teams.
I can't say much more about the Lions. They're so impressive. Dan Campbell.
Sam Darnold.
I envy having a coach who's Dan Campbell seems to have really improved in terms of like strategy. In that the Lions, I don't get scared when the Lions are in clutch situations, and I haven't been scared this year of the Lions doing something stupid and not taking the points because they have.
Same.
And the result has been they've been stellar. Outside of that one random loss to the Bucs, which looking back on it, it's like, wow, the Bucs are scary.
The Bucs are good. The Bucs are good.
They are. Well, not for long. Not for long. We already talked about a couple of the late games. The only late game we didn't really talk about was the Raiders and the Rams, which I didn't know this game happened. I'm going to be honest. I didn't know that.
It was actually some highlights to watch over. I'm not going to lie. That being said, you wouldn't know it from the box score whatsoever. And,
no.
It wasn't a good game.
No, the Rams defense, I think, were the MVPs of this game. The only points they allowed were field goals. They Listen, this is a defense that we all agreed was going to take a step backwards without Aaron Donald, and this was their first really good game without Aaron Donald.
Goodness gracious. Sorry.
What?
Kobe Durant with a 94.6 defensive grade in this game for the LA Rams. You were not lying. Damn, everyone did well.
Yeah. It's against the Raiders again. So it's one of those. It's weird because we always talk about how whenever a team beats the shit out of a bad team, we're always like, well, it's a bad team. I think we have to start being like, you know what? They played well. I think we just have to do that because I think the Washington Panthers game showed us that, even when it's a bad team, there's still stuff to talk. You still have to give them their laurels because in that case, it was a backup quarterback against a bad team and he still shredded them like he was the starter. So,
yeah. Meanwhile, not much to say for Las Vegas. Brock Bowers sort of impressed via his score. I didn't see much.
Aiden O'Connell got hurt, so they're going back to Gardner Minshew, it looks like.
Yeah, and that will affect absolutely nothing. So.
No, it will not. This team is going to be trash. This team's going to be trash, and then they'll be more trash when they draft Shedeur Sanders.
Don't do them like that.
Yeah. The primetime games are all we got left. We'll start off with, this was a big one. Russell Wilson made his debut as Steelers quarterback against the New York Jets and torched them. What? The Steelers offense looked good. Let me be clear. The Steelers offense looked good for the first time in years.
Remind me who I took.
I'm glad you asked. You selected the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, thank God.
Yes, as did Dakota, who said switch to the Jets if Russell Wilson is starting, but I didn't do
wait. That's what happened, though. That's an L for her.
That is an L. That's an L, which means you guys were tied for last week. She just popped her out of the bathroom and stared at me. You did say that if Russell Wilson started, give you the Jets. So yeah,
appreciate you, Dakota. What a take that was.
That was one of the takes of all time. I love you.
That Pittsburgh defense is absolutely insane.
Now they have an offense to go along. Najee had his first good game of the season. Russell forced some throws early in that game. Early on, it was like, oh God, their offense is just as bad with him as it was with Fields. But then it was like second half, oh yeah, he's Russell fucking Wilson. He's one of the best quarterbacks of the last generation. He tore that Jets defense apart.
Yeah, overall, I think he played good, not great. Overall, that being said, there's a clear difference with him in charge than Fields. Yeah. Their offense can actually move. Everyone else is playing better. They have their actual starter.
I think Justin Fields did a very good job of the situation. That Russell was out for a while.
I agree.
Fields stepped in. He got the Steelers to a really good start of the season. Was it carried by the defense? Absolutely. The Steelers' defense is like the best defense in the league, and they're this. But at the same time, it still felt like the last couple of years of the Steelers of the 2020s. In that, their defense was great, but their offense is just so. It's like they're not going to be a threat. Their offense is like just so hard to watch. Russell will and Justin Fields was trying his best, but it's just he's not that good. Russell Wilson comes in, and it's like, oh no, it's the Killer Bee Steelers again. They have an offense. Oh no, it's the Steelers immediately should be feared. Yeah, there's still stuff they got to work on. Obviously, Russell was, like you said, Russell was good. He wasn't great, but the Steelers should automatically be feared now.
Oh yeah, their defense is already the best in the league. And once Russell can move.
Once Russell figures it out and that connection to George Pickens gets going, the rest of the AFC is going to, we like to joke. We like to talk about the Steelers of the last 2 decades and how they invented the player safety initiative. It's like we're going to have to go back to fearing the Steelers again. There was a time.
Our horses.
TJ Watt is scary.
TJ Watt is scary, and he was good in this game. Not great. But I will say, as unbelievable as the Steelers defense is as a unit, and they are, their offense, a small caveat, it was the Jets defense. Not only that, it was the Jets defense who is reeling right now. They lost their defensive head coach. Their entire identity has shifted. None of them are playing well. And keep in mind, that was the thing that was supposed to be the main thing about this team is if Rodgers just plays okay ball, his defense will carry them into the playoffs. Now, this defense is not playing well whatsoever. They have no pass rush. Quinnen Williams is the only one who can do anything. And he was absent this game, basically. I mean, he was there, but he was absent, right? Like, that's how much of a factor he was. CJ Mosley and Quincy Williams, who have usually, both just been an amazing linebacker duo this week. This week they played good, but again, the entire unit was not playing well whatsoever. So who cares? And Yeah, the offense. Rodgers is not playing. I mean, he's giving them average football, but with the defense not there to do their part, they don't look good. The Jets are terrible.
No, it's the whole Aaron Rodgers experiment has been a mess for the Jets, and
I wouldn't say any of it's his fault, honestly. I'd say some of it's his fault, but not because of his play on the field. Just because he's Aaron Rodgers and he's a problem. But other than that, like their highest rated player on offense is Allen Lazard at 81.1 offensive grade, and then past that there's a drop, and no one else is above 70.
Man, the Jets are
That's
somehow.
All I have to say about that one. Yeah.
The Jets are still going to finish with a good record because there's a lot of shitty teams in the AFC East they can beat up on. But man,
fine, good. They're 2-5. What's their schedule look like?
All right, let's do the schedule thing. So 2024 New York Jets.
Let me see. Patriots up next. That's probably a win.
Dub. Yeah, it's a dub.
Texans, fat L.
Oh, L.
Cardinals, probably an L.
Probably. Arizona's been playing good. Yeah. Indianapolis,
probably an L. Maybe. I mean, Seahawks is an L.
Yeah. Dolphins probably a win.
If Tua's back, the Dolphins win.
Jacksonville.
That's a game they can win. Depends. Yeah. Whatever Jacksonville looks like week 14 or whatever this is.
They got the Rams.
Probably a win, depending. Yeah. Who knows? There's a lot of. It's really up in the air, but yeah,
they've got
like a pretty even spread.
They've got a combination of like a really tough schedule and a really stupidly easy schedule.
Yeah, they have a lot of teams that they can beat, a lot of teams that they can't beat, and then there's the ones in the middle who's like, who knows? Depending on how the teams look, then it'll be easier to predict.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, 2 more games to talk about Monday Night Football, and then we'll segue into our other sports. First up, the late night game. The Cardinals walk it off against the Chargers. Didn't see this one coming. Arizona continues to be the most frustrating team in the league. Are they good? Are they bad? Who knows?
Didn't you pick Arizona?
I did. I think I might have. I think I took. No, we all took the Chargers. To be fair, though, we all thought the Chargers were going to win this easily, but no, they just. This is the Chargers are frustrating in that their offense is very clearly running. They are very clearly trying to run like a college style offense, sort of, with Harbaugh. Because of his transition to the league, they focus primarily on running the. Actually, no, not even. Let me take that back. They don't. Their transition from a pass-first team with Justin Herbert slinging it to a run-first team with J.K. Dobbins carrying it on the ground, it's not going as well as we thought.
I agree and disagree.
Yeah.
I think they need the correct coordinators to be in there, and I think Harbaugh as a culture coach has actually worked. And I think I think they need to just figure out offensive and defensive identity, because right now they're very talented. And also, okay, Justin Herbert played great, but it doesn't matter. Like, his ball placement was great per PFF's things. Yeah, he didn't impress me in terms of film. I was like, yeah.
Losing to the Cardinals, though, like the Cardinals, which I'm curious what your take on the Cardinals is. I'm really curious because, like I said, they're a bipolar team. That one week they're getting torn apart. The next week they're beating a really good team. They're like. This has been the Cardinals season so far. Ready? This has been the Arizona Cardinals season so far. Okay? Week 1, barely lost to the Bills. Back and forth game against one of the better teams in the sport. Week 2, they blew the shit out of the Rams. Week 3, barely lose to the Lions. Another one of the best teams in football, they barely lost to them. Week 4, they got their shit rocked by Washington. Week 5, they beat San Francisco, the defending NFC champions. Week 6, they get their shit rocked by Green Bay. Week 7, they beat the Chargers. This season doesn't make sense.
It makes sense, actually, and it makes even more sense when you put things like that. They are losing to good teams.
They actually are. Holy shit.
They're losing to good teams, and they're beating bad ones.
With
a few anomalies.
Hold on. The Cardinals might be the league's litmus test. First of all, we've clearly found our most mid team of the year. But secondly, it's like, I think I figured it out. If the Cardinals beat you, you suck. If you beat the Cardinals, you're good. They're the litmus test for the league. If you want to prove that you're a legit team, beat the Cardinals. They're the most mid team in the league, and if you could beat them, because they're going to play you tough, if you could beat the Cardinals, You're a legit the 4 teams that have beaten the Cardinals are legit playoff contenders, with some of them being Super Bowl contenders. The 3 teams that have lost to the Cardinals, the Rams, 49ers, and Chargers, well, we don't know about the Chargers yet, but the 49ers and Rams have been racked by injuries and are all sorts of messed up. It makes perfect sense. That being said,
very close game against 49ers. Wow, they annihilated the Rams. But, yeah, I would say they are. Honestly, looking at it, look how hard the schedule has been. Bills, Lions, Commanders, 49ers, Packers. They got the Bears coming up soon.
The schedule is going to easy up a little bit.
Seahawks twice. Vikings.
Minnesota.
And, yeah, I mean, outside of that, yeah, the divisional games are kind of easy outside of Seattle. But, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree with you. That being said, I can kind of explain it away a little bit.
All right.
Arizona has a bipolar offense. I don't think they're a bipolar team. They have a bipolar offense. If the offense is playing well, the team is playing well. Their defense is made of paper mache.
Right.
They couldn't stop a nosebleed. That's their defense. So anything is going to be a shootout. And if the offense is not up to par, which it has been in some games and has not been in others, that depends entirely on the performance.
Right.
That's them. To me, it's that simple. The Chargers are a little bit hard to figure it out. They kind of just depend on other teams making mistakes, to be honest, and they didn't have much going for them in this game. They didn't really move the ball
well. Excuse me. Sorry. Last game we'll talk about before we segue into our other sports that we'll cover briefly. Ravens, Bucks, Baltimore. Yeah, you won this one, Noam. Congratulations. You won the battle of the co-hosts.
Oh, yeah. Not only did we win, but we beat the shit out of you guys. Don't let the score come close. There was 2 garbage time touchdowns, and I won't lie. It actually is a little bit concerning. I mean, there was 34 unanswered points by the Ravens. They smoked the Bucks. But it is a little concerning how the Ravens defense was unable to put them away completely.
Well, you guys would do that all year. It's just this time your offense scored enough that it didn't matter.
Yes. Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, also the defense, they were both late. There was 21 points in the fourth quarter for the Bucks. 2 of them were in the last 5 minutes, I think. Two touchdowns. So yeah. Where to begin? Lamar, 5 touchdowns, no picks.
I feel like a whip is cracking. I'm like, I have to take it. Yes, Dad. Yes, Dad.
Yeah, pause. No Diddy, but yes. Let's see. He has now 5 games where he's thrown 5 touchdown passes and 0 interceptions, and he's the quickest to that mark, having done that in only 84 starts, as opposed to the other people there: Rodgers, Manning, Roethlisberger, who, in that order, 231 for Rodgers, 265 starts for Manning, and 247 for Roethlisberger, to get them to the amount of games they've thrown 5 touchdown passes and 0 interceptions. That being said, stats are stats. Those are some amazing stats, but stats are stats. Let's talk about this film. Lamar is playing the best football of his career. He's incredible. Okay. Everything that I talked about came out. You could see in this game. You could see the part where he was that dynamic athlete he needed to be. And at the same time, you could see that he was the elite pocket passer. Yeah, his accuracy has never been his greatest thing, but it was on point in this game. And also, but really, the specialist thing about Lamar is his pocket awareness. And even though he drives me nuts sometimes because he will drop back a little bit too far, but then he throws the shit 60 yards to Rashad Bateman, who got behind the defender. Oh my God! They were just scoring. It was amazing. Derrick Henry, incredible. Lamar finishes per PFF finishes with a 92.7 offensive grade. Absolutely just incredible. Mark Andrews came alive finally. Rashad Bateman, Derrick Henry, everything was just on point for the Ravens.
So real quick about Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry, by the way, is averaging 6.5 yards per rush attempt. He's up to 873 yards on the season in just 7 games. Derrick Henry's going to break 2,000 again.
He might.
Derrick Henry. If Derrick Henry becomes the first player in NFL history to have 2 2,000-yard seasons, he might be MVP. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no. If he does that, that's the thing. He can't get MVP when Lamar's playing even better. But
he's offensive player of the year. Probably he is projected. Easily. He's projected to finish with 2,120 yards, 19 touchdowns.
That's the record, right?
NFL rushing.
Okay. To be fair, though, we do got an extra game, and OJ, like you always like to point out, OJ did it in 14.
OJ is always going to be. Listen, as complicated a person as OJ was, and that's really pushing it. Oh, by the way, that would be the record. If he could keep it up, please, Derek, do it. Listen, first off, if Derrick Henry breaks the rushing record, yeah, he's MVP. It does an extra game help? Yeah, probably. But if you take the extra game away, he probably still breaks it. That's the thing. That's the thing, because he's like 100 yards clear of the record. That's the
he
thing.
might. Yeah, well, that's crazy. That's the thing, though.
Here's the thing. I want to make because I always love talking about this. If you look at all the 2,000-yard seasons in NFL history, first of all, the fact that the Titans have 2 of them is interesting.
This would give the Ravens 2 of them too. Derrick Henry is just both of it happening twice. Jamal Lewis.
Yeah, Jamal Lewis. I always forget Jamal Lewis to that. If you look at all of them, obviously the most impressive has to be Dickerson. He set the record. Yeah, 2,105 yards, 16-game season. Yeah, he absolutely annihilated them. O.J. Simpson broke the 2,000-yard barrier in 14 games. 2 fewer games. See, here's the thing. If Derrick Henry breaks the record, it's still quite impressive because he only got 1 extra game. O.J. had 2 less games than Dickerson and broke the record.
Yeah, I have noticed.
As complicated as
Derrick Henry will win. It will if he does it, he is a lock for the Hall of Fame.
He's a lock for the Hall of Fame. He's a lock for MVP if he does it.
I don't know about a lock for MVP. It's just not a
you have to.
You don't. They don't have to. I say it's not that I don't agree with you that he should get it. I think he should because that's an achievement that should be rewarded, and I think he should get MVP if he does. That being said, it's not a lock of him actually winning it because we know how the NFL is. But it is a lock for him getting in the Hall of Fame. That's he does it twice.
At the very least, give him offensive player. Listen, I still will contend that he should have been MVP in 2020. But that being said, Aaron Rodgers did have like an insane season, so fair enough. I don't
know. His PFF grade for 2020, 91.8. This year is the second best of his career at 91.4. This is scary. This offense is scary. Their defense, Ravens defense, on the other hand.
Oh, your defense is kind of booty, man. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not booty. They're good. They're good. They're just not great, and they let their foot off the gas. It's a good thing Marlon Humphrey's playing well because no one else can cover.
Yeah.
Then he went out of the game with a 93.9 grade. Oh my God, he's insane. Nate Wiggins did play well in this one. Roquan and Kyle Hamilton played well. The defense actually played well in this game. Yet, you could still see the problems that were there. Roquan was better. He probably had his best game of the year. Roquan has not been good. It's the new Zachary Orr is a new defensive coordinator, and he's not filling in exactly like Mike did. Like it's not all there. But so Kyle Hamilton, Roquan, they've had their 2 best games. Marcus Williams had his best game this week. Everyone showed up to play Tampa. Everyone showed up except for, oddly enough, Kyle Van Noy. He's been our best defender. He was just getting okay. To be fair, Tristan Wirfs. Right, that's my response. Tristan Wirfs, who is just incredible and will just shut down. It's crazy how Tristan Wirfs will shut down an entire side of a line. It's just that line just doesn't work anymore. That side of the line, and because Kyle Van Noy has been our best pass rusher this year, and he just couldn't do anything. No matter where it felt like he was getting beaten so bad by Tristan Wirfs that it was like it was like when they switched to the other side, he still couldn't do anything. But anyway, it is what it is. There's still room for improve on defense, obviously, for the Ravens. That being said, they look incredible. Still the best team in the league.
I have a comment. We have a comment that came in here. Tyler Baker saying the penalties need to get sorted out if they want any chance of having a run.
Absolutely agree, Tyler. The penalties were embarrassing. There was twice. They were like 3rd and a goal from like the 30, I think. And there was another one where they were in like 3rd and 30. The penalties were hilarious. They held twice in a row, and then someone committed offensive pass interference. I was like, guys, the Ravens need to get that worked out.
I want to mention that. That's the only thing I want to mention about the Bucs, and that's this, ladies and gentlemen. Getting blown out by 41-18, and you keep your starters in there on the final drive for some reason because I don't know, we got to score points. We have a chance, guys. And Chris Godwin suffers an injury so gruesome ESPN can't even show it. They got it, only ended up being a dislocation, but he's going to be out for a while. Todd Bowles is not a great coach, and it's frustrating. As a Bucs fan, it's frustrating to have games like this where the Bucs always have a game like this where we're going up against a legit contender. It's like, all right, this is where we can prove ourselves, guys, where we can take them down and prove that we belong. Nope.
Can't do that.
Yeah. Nope.
To be fair to the Bucs, the Ravens were a much better team, and to be fair to the Bucs, they'll bounce back. Baker did not had a terrible game. Most of the Bucs had bad games. I mean, it is what it is. Their offensive line played pretty well, and yet Baker couldn't get anything done. Mike Evans not play well. I mean, the loss of Chris Godwin is just brutal because he was having the best year of his career, and it just you hate to see it happen. Yeah. Honestly, it's especially I love Chris Godwin. I've been rooting for him forever, and it's just it sucks because he was having a career year this year, even with having a relative lower score than his average. He had the worst game of this year. Actually, that was Atlanta, but this was like the second one. Even with that, overall his offensive grade is 86.3. He was having an incredible year, even with the 2 games dragging him down. Just sad to see, man.
Brutal, man. It's brutal.
Is he out for the year? He's done for the year?
He might be okay. He might only be out for like a month or a couple months.
Okay. I hope he comes back soon and
he could come back for the playoffs if we make him. So
I hope he does better. That being said, the Bucs defense was awful. Like holy shit.
Yeah.
No one shut up to play.
No,
it's no one else.
It's bad, man. It's bad. All right, I'm done talking about football. Real quick, I will say we already did our Week 8 predictions, but real quick, I did the math. Here is the overall records. Calvin, of course, is 0-0. Dakota is 54-44. Noam, you are 63-44, and I am 65-42. Keep in mind, she did miss Week 1, so we'll say that. I do need to calculate who has won the most weeks, but I think I have. We'll check on that. All right. Let's wrap up the show with a couple of other things. The NBA started last night. Some history was made. First, the Boston Celtics raised their 18th championship banner and then tied the record for most three-pointers of the game with 29. And then they went 0 for 30 trying to break the record.
Nice.
And then in the late game, the Los Angeles Lakers made history as LeBron James took to the court to begin his 22nd season, tying the great Vince Carter for the most seasons in NBA history played as a player. Late in the second quarter, he was joined on the court by Bronny James Jr., his son. For the first time, Noam, we're old. We're old people now. We're old, man.
I know. I feel it. We're old.
We started watching basketball when LeBron James was a rookie, and now, 22 years later, his son is playing alongside him.
I know. How did LeBron do?
LeBron did great. Bronny only played 3 minutes and had 1 rebound. It was his first game. That is all we'll say. But yeah, the NBA is back and time for predictions. Listen, I'm going to be honest, you guys. The WNBA spoiled me. They play actual defense. But I love the NBA. I'm excited. You know me, I'm always going to be rooting for my Heat. But my prediction for this year is quite simple. With 13 starters returning for their championship run, coming off one of the greatest seasons a team has ever had in NBA history, I'm taking the Boston Celtics to repeat as champions. I will say that the Denver Nuggets win the West, so we get a big-time showdown between the 2 best teams in the league with Denver versus Boston, with Boston winning it. That's my prediction for the NBA.
Same, actually. Those are actually my exact picks as well. I actually think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Nice. Very nice. And then we've been saving the best for last. The World Series is set. After a grueling postseason that had some really awesome moments, we've got our World Series, and it's New York, LA. Now,
what it is.
Listen, no. Here's the thing, because this is the World Series that we deserve. All right, I got to rant about this real quick. Okay,
go for it. Go off.
Win the World Series. Okay, so when the Yankees and the Dodgers both clinched. First thing. When you think Yankees Dodgers, that is the World Series rivalry. No 2 teams have played each other in the World Series more than these 2. They haven't faced off since 1981, and they are both star-studded teams, brimming with talent, some of the best baseball players of this generation. The Yankees have Soto, Aaron Judge, Gleyber Torres, Giancarlo Stanton, Garrett Cole, Nestor Cortez. Jazz Chisholm. They have some of the biggest, most marketable stars who are all playing at an elite level. Then you have the Dodgers, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
This is like the Olympics of baseball. It
is the Olympics of baseball.
A baseball all-star game with stakes. This is possibly the best possible World Series matchup that we could get. Two teams that are arguably more star-studded ever, playing for two insane markets with an insane amount of legacy and history going at it. And the internet hates it, which really
yeah, makes sense, I guess.
First of all, it does make sense because the internet hates everything. But the arguments they make are simple. First off, it's like no one likes these teams. Boo. Everyone hates these teams. Well, their fans don't. I don't hate these teams. I don't like the Dodgers. They have always been a big rival to the Yankees, but I can still say it's like, hey, they're a respectable organization. Out the Yankees, they're a franchise that has a rich history of winning, obviously. Which, yeah, I can see why people would hate them, but they haven't been to a World Series in 15 years. The last time they were in the World Series, a lot of Yankees fans weren't born yet. They were 2009 was the last time they were in the World Series, where they beat up on Kylie's team. I'm just gonna let that settle in real quick. We beat Kylie's team. So, they do have fans. Both teams have a lot of fans. They come from huge cities and huge markets. They are two of the most, well-recognized sporting teams in the world. Internationally, they have tons of fans. Japan's tuning in because of Shohei Ohtani and a couple other stars. So, no, they do have fans. People do like them. Argument number 2. Oh, well, they bought their way in. They have the highest payrolls out of any team.
Yes, I am aware, and I think that's kind of the most the criticism that has the most weight to it. I think because the whole we hate everything. No one likes these teams. They're boring or they win too much or the usual stuff. I don't really whatever. Whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact that baseball is an inherently unfair sport. Yes, I do think that is obnoxious. Like that is the one thing where I'm like, okay, fair enough, but it is the way it is. So this is what you have.
They do kind of have a point. And that's the thing. That's a baseball issue. That's an MLB issue. Major League Baseball doesn't have a salary cap. So if a team owners can spend as much money as they want. But here's what I'll counter with. How come your owners haven't spent money? How come the Dodgers and the Yankees owners have actually spent money to turn their teams into superpowers that are now about to face off in what is essentially the MLB equivalent of the final battle from Avengers Endgame, but your ownership groups haven't spent money? Why is it that some of your team's owners have all this money to spend on the team, but instead they use it to bully the cities into giving them new stadiums, and when they don't get what they want, they flee to shiny glitz and glamour and sin of Las Vegas, Oakland?
Okay. There is an answer, and it may upset you, and it's really obvious, and you probably already know it. Not all billionaires are created equal.
And that is true. That is true. I'm not going to lie. That is true. That is true. I say this because there are a lot of ownership groups in Major League Baseball that are sitting on stockpiles of cash, but they won't spend it. They refuse to spend it. They refuse to bring in big-name free agents and players that could help their teams. They just use it for stuff that they don't need to use it for. And the result is you see in Major League Baseball where it is really hard for smaller market teams to climb the ladder.
And the reason also is because, the Yankees have so much other ways outside of their own team of making money.
Yeah. And is that unfair? Yeah. It is. It is. I would love to see a salary cap in Major League Baseball. It would even the playing field. It would even the playing field, and it would mean that homegrown talent would have to work a lot harder. And there are teams that can prove that you could break through that. Just look at some of the teams in the American League: Detroit and Kansas City, two small market teams that almost made the championship series. Look at the Mets, a team that was plays second fiddle to the Yankees most of the time, almost made the World Series a
couple years ago.
Yeah, but here's the big thing I want to say. Major League Baseball fans for years have been pining and crying that they wanted random teams in the World Series every year. We're tired of the same teams going all the time, because in baseball that happens. The same teams will show up to the World Series time and time again. There were years in which the Yankees were there every single year. Fans complained and bitched and moaned for years. We want new teams in every year. I don't want to see the same two teams playing for a championship. And over the last decade, the 2010s, 2010s at the start of the 2020s, we were starting to get there. We were starting to see new teams crop up every so often. Tell me, do you remember anything about last year's World Series?
I think that games of baseball were played.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Last year's World Series.
I haven't confirmed that.
Last year's World Series was between the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks, two small market teams with ownership groups that don't spend a lot that managed to go on insane runs in the postseason and make the World Series. Baseball fans loved it. Oh my God, we finally got what we wanted. A World Series between two small market teams, two teams that everybody can like because they don't have a lot of history, and it's two underdog teams going at it. Finally, it's different teams. Let's least watched World Series of all time. Least no one tuned in. Everyone took one look at what the matchup was and said, Texas and Arizona? Ew. That was my reaction. I was like, really? The Rangers and the Diamondbacks? Well, I don't like the Diamondbacks because of what they did to the Yankees in 2001. And the Rangers the Rangers were owned by Bush. I can't support them. Why would I watch?
You have a fair point, but if the counter argument is there should be a monopoly on it, or you prefer a monopoly on baseball where it has to be the same teams winning, because of what you just said.
Oh,
I
no,
don't like that kind of train of thought. So
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying there needs to be a monopoly. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I believe that we need to make MLB more level playing field. And my point is this. So how come we weren't excited for that World Series? How come after years of asking to give us a World Series between two underdog teams that everyone could root for and not have any issues with, no one watched? My issue is this. This is the World Series that we deserve because we got the World Series that everyone wanted last year. Everyone wanted two underdog small market teams battling it out, and no one watched. Now we get what we deserve. Two massive superpowers stacked with some of the best baseball players of this generation going at it in an Avengers level. It's an Avengers level threat on the baseball diamond. This is what we deserve. This is what we get for bitching and complaining for years that the World Series, it's the same teams, it's the big market teams that always win. I want to see Arizona versus Texas. Oh, we got that. No one watched it. And it was a shitty series that no one paid attention to. Seriously, there was no memorable moments outside of like a few. This is the World Series that we deserve as baseball fans. As baseball fans, we deserve a World Series where the best of the best go at it. And again, the playing field needs to be leveled. We need to get to a point where, while there are, yes, the blue bloods of the sport, we can still have teams fight. We can still have newcomers come up and mix with them, and it'll be just as fun. The rise like the Houston Astros a couple years ago was awesome because it was like there's a team that actually has emerged as one of the big dogs that used to be an underdog. Of course, then it was revealed that they were cheating. It was like, oh, well, no, fuck them. But that's more what I'm talking about. So that's my World Series. We deserve this World Series. And with that being said, Yankees in 7, baby. Let's go Yankees, baby. Aaron, let's go Yanks. Dakota says Yankees in 6. Noam, what's your prediction?
Yankees in 7. I think they're better.
It's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be a hell of a series. I'm excited. I hope everybody at the Halloween party I'm going to on Friday is okay with me having my phone on with the game the whole time. I am hyped. I am pumped. I might even do a World Series watch along on Monday with Kylie. We'll see about that. With that being said, any final thoughts, Noam?
None.
With that being said, we're going to wrap this one up, ladies and gentlemen. As always, thank you so much for being here. We're a proud member of Fire all at BBS_podcast. Check out our Twitter bio for merch. We will see you guys next week, and we're looking forward to it. And keep a lookout for a potential special episode. Oh, Dakota's saying bye in the background. Keep your eyes out for a potential bonus episode where me and Kylie watch World Series Game 3 on Monday. We're working on getting that together. But in the meantime, we're going to sign off, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Peace.